The war in the Middle East is opening an extraordinary divide between the White House and the Vatican. Pope Leo says that he'll continue to speak out against the war, despite direct criticism from the U.S. president. Donald Trump calls the Pope a very liberal person, weak on crime, who is not doing a good job.
We don't like a Pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a Pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo.
The American-born Pope has been outspoken about Trump and his policies, describing the president's threat to destroy Iranian civilization as unacceptable.
I do not look at my role as being a politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed.
This AI-generated image was posted to Trump's social media shortly after those words from the Pope. It shows Donald Trump in robes placing a healing hand on a person, and it drew widespread criticism, even from some of his supporters. Donald Trump has since explained that he felt it portrayed him as a doctor making people better. It was removed from his account this morning with no explanation. Now, the post and the backlash has some now putting some of his supporters in a bit of a difficult position. How will this affect Trump's popularity in a group that had given him really immense support? Andre Gagne is a professor. Gagne, is a professor and chair of theological studies at Concordia University, and he joins us now. Andre, it's good to have you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
What was your initial reaction when, and I don't know if you saw the imagery on Trump's actual social media, but it certainly, of course, has been now widespread and it's I'm sure, made its way across your desk. What did you think?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not very surprised because Trump has his own political agenda. He doesn't value what we call compassion, as you can see, calling the Pope weak and liberal. And at the same time, the position that the Pope is taking is one that is characterized by how he understands the gospel. You know, for him, it's about human flourishing. It's not about supporting war. So, of course, Trump is very troubled by these words, by the constant backlash that by the Pope regarding his policies. So, it's not surprising at the same time to see that because they have two different agendas. And the Pope clearly says that he's not a politician. So he works more around issues of human flourishing and making sure that the Christian message is expressed in a way that's compatible with his understanding of the gospel.
I mean, however the U.S. president understands the gospel, I think he surely understands that it is important to a lot of his base, those who voted for him. Just how important are Catholic voters to Trump's political base, do you think?
They are important in the sense that when we look at the U.S., there's about 250 million Christians on a population of 350 million, and there's about 70 million Catholics. Now, if you consider the fact that you have J.D. Vance, the vice president that is a Catholic, you have, of course, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who's a Catholic, you have conservative judges on the Supreme Court that are Catholic, and there are definitely white Catholic supporters. Some of them voted at 59% for Trump in 2024. But what's interesting in noticing the message that was criticized, of course, by the cardinals and the bishops versus the meme that was posted, this image of Trump as being Jesus. What's interesting is that Trump removed that image because it is the image that was the most outrageous, I would say, for his strongest supporters, which are the white evangelicals that voted for him at 85% in 2024. So it's interesting to see that on one side, he's not going to apologize to the Catholic Church nor to the Pope per se. But at the same time, he's going to take or remove an image that created a lot of distress for a lot of his evangelical voters. He had also, if you remember, when the Pope was elected, he had also at one point posted an AI-generated image of himself as a Pope. So you can question the fact that is he favoring one form of Christianity over another?
And, and to that, I wonder, and you answer this, whether or not the evangelical base might not be, at least to some degree, or maybe any religious base might be some degree in the camp of the Catholic voters, if you will. The idea that he would take aim, or that any religion might find themselves at the aim of the U.S. president, might that rally the other religious base supporters?
Up to a certain extent, maybe, but not that much. Because when you look at what those that were outraged on the evangelical side with the AI image, they also commented on what Trump said concerning the Pope and saying they had no issue with that. So they had no problem with Trump criticizing the Pope. So we could question and wonder what is the true view of these evangelicals towards Catholics per se. At the same time, what's interesting to note is that there are evangelicals that did support Trump that were, of course, distraught by this image and are starting to wonder, there's a small fracture, of course, are starting to wonder if they voted for the one that they thought God had chosen. Is it for him that they voted, or did they vote in the Antichrist? So some of them are actually questioning if Trump is actually chosen by God. You have this kind of fracture that is evident in some cases within the evangelical camp.
Andre Gagné, professor and chair of theological studies at Concordia University. Thank you.
Welcome.